Okay, well there you go. There's the other torque box reinforcement plate. There's the first one that we did. And yes, I'm using one of those bolts as a ground clamp now. And there's the new one that's going in. You can see it's not been welded yet. I also haven't reformed that plate to meet the contour of the inside of the car yet. So I do have it. Two of the bolts gone through and tightened up already. Now I have to go underneath the vehicle and drill the other two 3/8 holes. Those top holes, by the way, the very top one of the top hole on either side, the one that the ground clamp is not on over here on this side, you drill from underneath the vehicle. The other ones you can drill from the top part of the vehicle. I found it was easier to go from underneath the vehicle anyway, to make sure that the hole lines up with the bottom plate and the top plate, as well as the hole through the vehicle. Now that's a 1/2 inch hole that you drill, and then those two holes for the lower bolts that go in behind where the seat bottom pad goes, those are 3/8 holes that you have to drill. And once you got the inner bracket located, along with the top bolts of the upper torque box reinforcement plate and the lower torque box reinforcement plate, through the lower torque box reinforcement plate is where you will see the holes for the 3/8 holes that need to be drilled for those two smaller bolts. And you go ahead and drill those from underneath the vehicle as well. I suggest having a nice sharp drill bit and getting as much axle clearance under the vehicle as possible, lowering the rear end down as much as possible and jacking up the body as much as possible, making sure that you stay safe. Keep your front wheels chocked. Obviously the parking brake isn't going to work very well because the rear end is what you are working on the vehicle. And make sure you support the vehicle on jack stands very well too. Okay, see, I'm using ramps for the tires in the back so my axle doesn't just fall out. And I got the jack stands on both sides, and a ramp also on both sides. And I do have the tires chalked. I have a 2x4 board here, and I was worried that that might slip, so I actually used a rock over here on this side, and it's wedged in there pretty good at the moment. And there's the other ramp on the other side, and yes, you can see the welding blanket again. Here will be a different view on this upper torque box reinforcement plate. There you go. And as you can see, I got that area cleaned. Now what I actually used is, once I got the first hole drilled, that would be this upper one right there. Once I got that hole drilled through, I set that plate down and lined up the hole through the plate with the hole that I just drilled through the body of the car. And I went ahead and took a razor knife, that guy right there, and I cut this black sound deadening material that you see. I actually traced the outline of that plate once I drilled the first hole, located it, put the plate in there, traced around it with the putty knife, and then I used this Wonder Bar right here, fabulous tool, and I also used that dead blow hammer right there to scrape off all of that sound deadening material. And then once I was done with that, I used that wire wheel that you can see right there, and there's also a paint stripping tool. Those are both for a drill. In case you haven't noticed, I'm using a 12-volt cordless Ryobi drill, which is also why I have some difficulty drilling some of these holes through the vehicle, because it is only 12 volts. But it works. It's compact and convenient, and I've got a bunch of batteries for it, and I actually have 2 of the 12-volt drills. So, but anyway, I actually went over the whole area underneath where the plate goes with the wire wheel, and then I kind of put the plate up there, mocked it in place again, and kind of went around the edges with that paint stripping wheel. As you can see some bare metal around there. Got a little bit more of that prep work to do before I actually finish welding this one in place, but in the meantime, I'm good to go to weld up the bolt, or to go ahead and drill the bolt holes and get it bolted in place anyway. So we'll pick this up in a little bit.